Hello, I'm Jamie, and today I'm going to talk about the process of planning and budgeting for a theater show which I produced and which was performed at the Edmonton Fringe Festival last year, which was 2016. On June 20th last year, the Fringe Festival had a how-to workshop so that people would be able to ask questions. They said even if you get bad reviews, you can still use good pull quotes from those reviews. So if someone says, 2 stars, everything was terrible, but this one actor was great, you can pull that quote and say, this newspaper said this actor is great. They said, don't waste your money on posters, you only need a few, but you need lots of handbills, and everyone in your team should always have handbills in their pocket at all times. They said, update your imagery on social media, your avatar and your background image should have to do with your show. Oh, one thing that's really important at the Fringe Festival, the schedule is really important. They are serious about it. Before your show starts, you have 15 minutes to set up, and that's it, and you have to start on time. So there's 1 hour between shows. So after your show is done, you get 15 minutes to strike the stage. There's 15 minutes for the text to set up, 15 minutes for the next show to set up, and then 15 minutes for the audience to come in. They don't want people to be setting up props on the stage while the audience is coming in. But yeah, they're really serious. If you go over your time limit, you won't be able to come back the following year. They suggested to buy your text donuts. Oh, that's a thing I was going to mention, is that when you are provided a venue by the Fringe Festival, they also provide you sound equipment, lighting equipment, and a sound person and a lighting person. And so you're going to be working with those techs, and you want them to like you. So be nice to them. Comp tickets are a thing that I found really confusing. When you first fill out your form with all the info about your show, you need to say whether or not you want to set aside a certain percentage of your tickets as comp tickets. And I said, sure, that sounds fine. But what I didn't realize is that you have to let them know 24 hours before each performance what you want to do with those tickets. So for the first 1 or 2 performances of my show, I didn't talk to anyone about it. And it turned out they were setting those tickets aside and they were not for sale, but I had not planned to give them away either. I didn't give anyone a password to pick those tickets up. So there were some tickets that were just sitting there not doing anything that no one was able to buy. So whoops. So the thing to do is to figure out the day before each of your performances how many tickets you want to be given away as comp tickets, and communicate with the box office about that. Give them any names or passwords that they need. And then let them know, if they're not all going to be used as comp tickets, let them know to release the other ones for sale so that those tickets actually get used. Next, I want to share with you the budget I tried to make before the whole rehearsal and performance process, where I tried to make guesses about how much things would cost, and then after that I'm going to show you the actual budget of how much things actually did cost. So I downloaded this free budget that I found online for independent theater, and I filled out as much as I could. I knew that we were going to have 6 performances in a venue with a capacity of 102. That info was given to us by the Fringe Festival. The form has a spot to put in what percentage of the audience is going to be filled up, so you can see an estimate of how much you'll make. Oh, we got to set our own ticket prices. There was an upper limit on how much they could cost, but not a lower limit. And most of the shows were between $10 and $13, I believe, and we decided to go lower at $9. Anyway, if we sold 80% of capacity, we would make $4,406. Other income, I didn't think we'd have any other income. For production costs, again, our rehearsal space is free. It's in my apartment building. I figured we would probably spend $100 on the set because we would probably need a table and 3 chairs from IKEA. They're really cheap there. For props, I figured we would just need to print a calendar. For costumes, I figured the actors would mostly wear their own clothes, but I did put a little bit of a costume budget. Lighting is free, provided by the Fringe. Sound, I put $200 just in case we needed to rent microphones. And I knew we would probably want to borrow a keyboard, but that would be free. For audio visual, I knew we would want some sound effects, and I figured we'd probably have to pay for that. Transport, initially I had this part blank, but then after talking to the director and the stage manager, I realized that if we're rehearsing in my apartment building, which is downtown, parking is really expensive. So I gave everyone a budget of $200 per person. And this is based on the cost of bus passes. We were going to spend about 2 months rehearsing and performing, and 1 month bus pass is almost $100. Running costs, I don't know what that is. Bump in and out crew, I figured we'd do that ourselves. For marketing, I didn't figure we would need most of this. Opening invites, catering. For promotional photography, I figured we would use images that I already had and take iPhone photos for social media. I didn't think we would need archival photography and video. I can do graphic design. For advertising, I looked up how much it would cost to print color flyers, so $120 for 800 of them. The Fringe provides a theater listing, and if we do interviews on CJSR, that's free, so we weren't going to pay for a radio commercial or anything. I didn't think we'd need postcards. Programs, I looked up how much it would cost to print 1,000 of them in black and white, and that's $70. Posters, they're $1 each, so $25. And we could do our own distribution. So the total for marketing is $215. Then for administration, I didn't figure we would need insurance. Yeah, I didn't put any costs for any of this. And then salaries and fees, this particular director ended up a lot cheaper than the one I was originally going to go with, so $700 director's fee. The producer is me, and I would just take a split of revenue. The actors would take a split of revenue. Lighting and sound provided by the Fringe, and the stage manager would take a split of revenue. And then this form has a little section for contingency, so 10% of everything else is just in case, $260. So total expenditures, $2,876. And now here is how much things actually cost and how much money we actually made. So our total income for just ticket sales was $3,257. And that's for 6 shows. 3 of them sold out, so I think we did pretty well. We did end up getting a sponsorship. A company paid $96 to have an ad on the back of the program. And for fundraising, we did have a practice performance for friends and family before our Fringe performances, and we took donations there, so that was $23. We also sold CDs at the performances. They were CDs of mine that I had made previously, and some of the songs were the same as the songs in the show, and we made $303 for CD sales. So our total income was $3,679. For expenditures, again, the rehearsal space was free. For sets and props, mostly provided by the actors, and the director found us a free couch. And we spent $23.75 on sets and props. I do want to mention this couch was terrible. Originally I was thinking we would just have like fold-up chairs with some kind of cloth cover pretending to be a couch, because that would be easy to transport, but the director decided she really wanted people to interact with the couch in other ways, like standing on it and that kind of thing, so we needed something that it would be safe to stand on and jump off of and stuff. So she found us this free couch, but then it turned out that the back legs had been replaced by wheels and it was not safe to stand on. So then we took the wheels off and tried to add legs to it. And one of the corners was completely busted and the leg wouldn't stick on there. And we tried to find we took all the legs off to make it sturdier, but then it was really low and everyone had their knees up high when they were sitting on it. And also we were using it so one actor could jump onto another and do like a piggyback ride, and it was a little low for that. So then we tried to find a platform to put the couch on, and in the end we just left it with no legs on it. And everyone just remembered to keep their knees down when they were sitting on it, and it looked fine. But yeah, we spent so much time dealing with this stupid free couch. And then we had to find a way to get rid of it on the last day, because you're not allowed to store stuff in the venue after the last performance. We had to take everything out right away as soon as the last show was done. So we were in kind of a scramble to find someone who had a truck to take the couch away. But yeah, there was so much time and effort went into that couch. So then, costumes, mainly provided by the actors, but we did spend some money. We spent $117. Lighting and sound, again, was free. Audio visuals, I ended up finding free sound effects, which I credited on the program and on the website, and we didn't have to pay for them. But it's important to check the rules for wherever you download them from. The place I got them did say, as long as you give credit, it's okay to use it for commercial purposes. For transport, we spent $772. Some people did go over budget, and that meant that they had to pay for a section of their transportation costs, but I reimbursed up to $200 per person. So our total production costs were $913. For marketing, one of our actors did promotional photography and graphic design. Our costs for printing flyers, posters, and programs came to $405, which I think ended up being a bit more than I had expected. We ended up needing more programs and more flyers than we had expected. For advertising, the theater listing was provided by the Fringe, and the radio interviews were free, and we did our own distribution. So marketing, $405. Oh, for interviews, I included the costs in here of whenever I paid for coffee or food when I was interviewing potential stage managers and directors. So the cost for that came to $51. And we also had an after party for the cast and crew and partners, and I paid for that, and that came to $259. Salaries and fees. The director's fee was $700. The producer was me, and since I was paying for everything, I didn't write down in this spot how much I would receive because it all kind of got canceled out anyway. The actors each got a split of revenue, or rather a split of ticket sales. They did not get a split of the CD sales. For lighting and sound, I got some gift cards for our techs, and the stage manager got a split of ticket sales as well. So for salaries and fees, it came to $2,891. So total expenditures were $4,522. So that amount minus the income of $3,679 means that I was in the hole $842 in the end. So I paid for everything out of pocket. I felt like that would be the easiest thing. I could have potentially applied for a grant to see if I could get the costs paid for some other way. Applying for grants is hard, and it's a lot of work in itself, and I'm not experienced at it. And I decided in my particular case that I would just pay for everything. I'm very fortunate that I was able to afford to do that. And in the end, each of the actors and the stage manager received $542, which, considering it's 2 months of work, is not a lot of money. But everyone was aware going in that everyone would just get a split of ticket sales and it might not be a lot of money, and everyone was okay with that. I think for the most part, most of the people involved were either in school and so on a summer break from school, or were available for other reasons. So I think it worked out pretty well in the end. But I think it's important to remember that as the person paying for it, I did end up making a loss, not a profit. And all of this stuff is way easier if you have money to spend. Like, we doubled up on responsibilities. One of the actors did graphic design. One of the actors built some sets. One of the actors did choreography. The director found us that couch, and we all helped out with social media. Like, everyone took on different jobs, not just whatever role their title was. Again, the fewer people you have, the cheaper it all is, but the more work it is for everyone. Rehearsals were a pretty stressful time because we were all figuring out how it all works. I was lucky to get an experienced stage manager. She really knew what she was doing and was able to give a lot of advice. But there was a lot of work involved in making sure all the songs were in the right key for the performers, and I spent a lot of time changing the key of the songs and making new recordings for everyone to practice to. The performance week was oddly not as stressful in terms of hard work. Like, we kind of knew what we were doing at that point, and it was just a matter of going on stage and doing the show. And I was on stage playing instruments. I did want to mention the music arrangements were really simple. Every song either had voices and guitar or voices and keyboard, and I played the guitar and keyboard, and I just switched between the two. So I didn't have to hire extra musicians, and I didn't have to record really nice sounding backing tracks. I did make mistakes while I was on stage playing the songs, but I figured I would rather play the instruments live and have me make a few mistakes here and there than have a pre-recorded backing track and all the work that goes into creating that, and potentially have any issues with if a performer misses a line or something, then they'd have to catch up and match the timing of that recording. I thought it would be easier to have a live musician who can keep time with the performers rather than the other way around. The performers get to guide the speed and the timing of everything, and that makes it easier on them. Basically, everything was a lot of work, but it all worked out in the end, and it was a really great experience. It was very difficult, but very rewarding. And I think that if you're thinking about doing a fringe show, it is okay to just go ahead and do it, even if you're not quite sure what you're doing. As long as you have people around you who are supportive and who can help you and who you can ask for advice from, I say just go for it and see how good a show you can put on. Don't rely on it for an income, though. But yeah, if it's a matter of being creative and seeing what you can do in the theater and not a matter of trying to make some money, then I say yes, go for it. Please let me know if you have any comments or questions. I'm pretty sure that's all I wanted to talk about today, but I am open to doing another video about this, or maybe a blog post if there are other things that people wanted to know about the process of putting on a show at the Fringe Festival. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a really great day. Bye!